Hi, welcome to Being Loved BL Stories. This is a work of fiction. All characters, events, and places are made up. Any similarity to real people or situations is purely coincidental. Kai needs to marry someone to save his family's restaurant. He thinks his new husband will be cold and mean. But Elliot is sweet and clingy at night, then acts like nothing happened in the morning. Why does Elliot keep pretending? What is he hiding?
The wedding hall was empty except for two lawyers and a photographer who looked bored out of his mind. This was not how Kai Chen had imagined his wedding day. No guests, no flowers, no celebration. Just cold marble floors and the sound of papers being shuffled. "Sign here, please," the lawyer said, pushing a thick contract across the table. Kai stared at the document. Marriage contract between the Chun family and the Reed family. It looked more like a business merger than a wedding, which he supposed was exactly what it was. "Kai, honey, are you sure about this?" His mother touched his shoulder gently. Her eyes were red from crying. She had been crying for weeks now, ever since their family restaurant started failing. The debt collectors had been calling every day. They were going to lose everything. "I'm sure, Mom," Kai said, even though his hands were shaking as he picked up the pen. "This will help us. This will save the restaurant." His father stood in the corner, looking ashamed. He could not even meet Kai's eyes. The proud man who had built their restaurant from nothing was now watching his son sell himself in marriage to save it. Kai did not blame him. Sometimes life gave you terrible choices, and you just had to pick the least terrible one. The door opened, and Kai looked up, expecting to see his future husband for the first time. Elliot Reed walked in, and Kai forgot how to breathe for a moment. He was nothing like Kai had imagined. The Reed family was one of the most powerful alpha families in the city. Kai had expected someone big, intimidating, maybe older. Someone who would look at him like he was a piece of furniture being delivered to their house. But Elliot was young, probably around Kai's age. He was tall but thin, almost delicate looking. His skin was so pale it was almost translucent, and there were dark circles under his gray eyes. His brown hair was neatly styled, but a few strands fell across his forehead. He wore an expensive black suit that seemed just a bit too big for his frame, like he had lost weight recently. He looked sick, fragile, like a strong wind might knock him over. "Hello," Elliot said softly, and even his voice was gentle. "You must be Kai." Kai stood up quickly, almost knocking over his chair. "Yes. Hi, I'm Kai. Obviously. You already knew that." He was rambling. "Great start." Elliot's lips curved into a small smile. "Nice to meet you, Kai." He extended his hand. When their hands touched, Kai noticed how cold Elliot's fingers were. The handshake was brief, but Kai felt something strange pass between them. Recognition, maybe? No, that was stupid. They had never met before. "Should we begin?" the lawyer asked impatiently. The ceremony was quick and mechanical. They stood side by side while the lawyer read from the contract. Kai said "I do" when he was supposed to. Elliot said it too, his voice quiet but clear. They exchanged simple rings, plain silver bands that came with the contract package. The photographer took exactly 5 pictures. That was all that was included in the basic ceremony fee. "Congratulations, you are now legally married," the lawyer announced without any enthusiasm. He handed them each a copy of the marriage certificate. "The Reed family representative will contact you about living arrangements." Kai looked at Elliot, confused. "Living arrangements? Aren't we supposed to?" "I have to return to work," Elliot said quickly, not meeting Kai's eyes. "My assistant will take you to the apartment. I will see you tonight." Before Kai could say anything else, Elliot turned and walked out of the hall. Just like that, Kai watched his new husband disappear through the doors, feeling completely lost. "Well, that was romantic," the photographer muttered sarcastically as he packed up his camera. Kai's mother hugged him tightly. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" "I'm fine," Kai lied. He was not fine. He had just married a complete stranger who could not even stay for 10 minutes after the ceremony. But this was the deal. This was what he had agreed to. His feelings did not matter. Only saving his family mattered. A woman in a business suit appeared a few minutes later. Mr. Chan? I'm Sarah, Mr. Reed's personal assistant. I'll take you to your new home. The car ride was silent. Sarah did not seem interested in talking, and Kai was too overwhelmed to make conversation. He stared out the window, watching the city pass by, trying not to think about what his life had just become. The apartment was in one of the most expensive buildings downtown. The top floor, the penthouse. Sarah used a key card to unlock the door, and Kai stepped into what would be his new home. It was huge. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed a view of the entire city. The furniture looked like it belonged in a magazine. Everything was white and gray and black, very modern, very expensive, very cold. There was no warmth here, no personality. It looked like a hotel room, not a home. Your bedroom is down this hall, second door on the right, Sarah said, pointing. Mr. Reed's bedroom is the first door. The kitchen is fully stocked. If you need anything, my number is on the refrigerator. Mr. Reed usually returns home around midnight. Midnight, Kai repeated. That was so late. Sometimes later, Sarah said with a slight frown. He works very hard. Try not to bother him when he comes home. He needs his rest. Before Kai could ask any more questions, Sarah left, closing the door behind her with a soft click. Kai stood alone in the massive apartment, holding his single suitcase. This was it. This was his new life. He explored the apartment slowly. His bedroom was bigger than his entire childhood bedroom and living room combined. It had its own bathroom with a huge bathtub. The closet was walk-in and mostly empty, waiting for clothes he did not own. Everything was perfect and beautiful and completely impersonal. Kai sat on the edge of the bed and let himself feel sad for a few minutes. He had just gotten married. He should be happy or excited or nervous. Instead, he just felt alone. But he could not afford to feel sorry for himself. This marriage was saving his family. That was what mattered. He unpacked his few belongings, took a long shower, and then went to explore the kitchen. At least cooking always made him feel better. The kitchen was amazing, with professional-grade appliances and every tool he could possibly need. The refrigerator and pantry were indeed fully stocked with high-quality ingredients. Kai decided to make dinner, even though he did not know if Elliot would eat it. Cooking gave him something to do, something familiar in this strange new place. He made his mother's recipe for chicken soup, the one that always made him feel better when he was sad. Hours passed. Kai ate alone at the big dining table, sitting in a chair that felt too fancy for him. He washed the dishes. He watched some television but could not focus on it. He kept checking the clock. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11:30. At midnight, Kai heard the front door open. His heart started beating faster. He stood up from the couch, not sure what to do. Should he go greet Elliot? Should he stay here? What was the proper behavior for this situation? There was no guidebook for arranged marriages. He heard footsteps in the entryway, then silence. Kai waited, but Elliot did not come into the living room. Maybe Sarah was right. Maybe Elliot wanted to be left alone. Kai was about to go to his bedroom when he heard a strange sound. A soft thud, like something falling. Elliot, Kai called out, worried. No answer. Kai rushed to the entryway and found Elliot leaning against the wall, his face even paler than before. He looked exhausted, like he might collapse at any moment. Are you okay? Kai asked, approaching carefully. Elliot looked up, and his eyes went wide. For a second, he just stared at Kai like he was surprised to see him there. Then, suddenly, his whole expression changed. His eyes softened. His shoulders relaxed. Kai, Elliot said, and his voice sounded different now. Warmer. You're here. Of course I'm here. I live here now. We're married, remember? Elliot pushed away from the wall and, before Kai could react, stepped forward and pulled Kai into a tight hug. Kai froze in shock. This was the same person who had barely looked at him during the wedding. The same person who had left immediately after the ceremony. And now he was hugging Kai like they were old friends reuniting after years apart. Elliot's arms were wrapped around Kai's waist, and his face was pressed against Kai's shoulder. He was shaking slightly, and Kai could feel how thin he was through his suit jacket. Elliot? Kai said carefully. Are you feeling okay? Tired, Elliot mumbled against Kai's shoulder. So tired. But you're here. That's good. Kai did not know what to do with his hands. After a moment of awkwardness, he slowly brought them up to pat Elliot's back. Do you want to sit down? Have you eaten dinner? No. Forgot. You forgot to eat? Kai pulled back enough to look at Elliot's face. When was the last time you ate? Elliot had to think about it. Breakfast, maybe? I don't remember. That explained why he looked so weak. Come on. Let me make you something. But when Kai tried to step back, Elliot's arms tightened around him. Wait, can we stay like this for a minute? Please. There was something in Elliot's voice that made Kai's chest hurt. He sounded so lonely, so desperate for human contact. Okay, Kai agreed softly. We can stay like this. They stood in the entryway holding each other for what felt like a long time. Kai could feel Elliot gradually relaxing, his breathing becoming slower and deeper. It was strange, being held by someone he had just met. But it was not uncomfortable. Actually, it felt kind of nice. Kai had been so lonely today, and maybe Elliot had been lonely too. Finally, Elliot pulled back. His face was slightly red, and he would not quite meet Kai's eyes. Sorry. I don't know what came over me. It's okay. You're tired and hungry. Let's get you fed. Kai led Elliot to the kitchen and made him sit at the counter while he heated up the leftover soup. Elliot watched him the whole time, his gray eyes following Kai's every movement. You cook? Elliot asked. My family owns a restaurant. I grew up in the kitchen. That must have been nice. There was something wistful in Elliot's voice that made Kai look at him curiously. What about you? Do you cook? No, I never learned. We always had chefs. Kai placed a bowl of steaming soup in front of Elliot. Well, try this. It's my mom's recipe. Elliot picked up the spoon and took a careful sip. His eyes widened. This is delicious. Really? It's just simple chicken soup. No, seriously. This is the best thing I've tasted in months. Elliot took another spoonful, then another. He ate like he was starving, which he probably was. Kai felt a warm feeling in his chest watching Elliot enjoy the food. At least he could do this. At least he could make sure his new husband ate properly. When the bowl was empty, Elliot looked up at Kai with such genuine happiness that Kai's breath caught. Thank you, Elliot said softly. Really, thank you. It's just soup. It's not just soup. It's care. No one has cooked for me in a long time. Elliot reached across the counter and took Kai's hand, threading their fingers together. I'm really glad you're here, Kai. I know this marriage is not what either of us wanted. But I'm glad it's you. Kai's face felt hot. His heart was beating too fast. I'm glad too, he said, because it felt true. Maybe this would not be so bad after all. They sat like that for a while, hands linked across the kitchen counter, neither of them quite ready to let go. Eventually, Elliot's eyes started drooping. He was fighting to stay awake. You should sleep, Kai said gently. Elliot nodded but still did not release Kai's hand. Will you be here tomorrow morning? The question was so vulnerable, so uncertain, that Kai wanted to hug him again. Where else would I go? This is my home now too. Right? Home. Elliot said the word like he was testing it out. Good night, Kai. Good night, Elliot. Elliot finally let go of Kai's hand and walked toward the bedrooms. At the doorway, he turned back and gave Kai one more soft smile before disappearing. Kai stood in the kitchen for a long time after that, touching the hand Elliot had held. His skin still felt warm where they had touched. This marriage was supposed to be just a business arrangement, a way to save his family. But the way Elliot had looked at him, held him, thanked him, it felt like something more. Maybe, just maybe, there was hope here. Kai woke up to the sound of the fire alarm. He jumped out of bed and ran toward the kitchen, his heart racing. Smoke was pouring out into the hallway. What was happening? Was the building on fire? He burst into the kitchen and found Elliot standing in front of the smoking toaster, holding a fire extinguisher with a confused expression on his face. What are you doing? Kai shouted over the alarm. I was trying to make toast, Elliot shouted back. Kai rushed to open all the windows while frantically waving a towel under the smoke detector. After what felt like forever, the alarm finally stopped blaring. The kitchen was a disaster. There was burnt bread in the toaster, eggshells all over the counter, spilled milk on the floor, and what looked like completely charred bacon in a pan on the stove. Elliot, have you ever cooked before in your life? Kai asked, staring at the mess. No, Elliot admitted, looking embarrassed. But I wanted to make you breakfast. You made me dinner last night, so I thought I should return the favor. Kai's irritation melted away immediately. Elliot had woken up early to try to cook for him? That was actually really sweet, even if it had ended in disaster. That's very thoughtful, Kai said gently. But maybe next time wake me up first? We can cook together. Elliot's face brightened. Really? You would teach me? Of course. Come on. Let's clean this up and start over. They spent the next hour cleaning the kitchen and then making a proper breakfast together. Well, mostly Kai cooked while Elliot watched and asked a million questions about everything. Why do you crack the eggs on the edge of the bowl like that? How do you know when the bacon is done? What temperature should the pan be? Can you teach me how to make that soup from last night? It was actually kind of adorable. Kai had never seen an alpha act so curious and eager about something as simple as cooking. Most alphas he knew thought cooking was beneath them. Elliot was different. He watched everything Kai did with complete focus, like he was studying for an important exam. When Kai let him try flipping the bacon, Elliot was so careful and serious about it that Kai had to hide his smile. Finally, they sat down together to eat the breakfast they had made. Scrambled eggs, bacon, toast that was not burnt, and fresh fruit. This is nice, Elliot said, smiling at Kai across the table. Having breakfast together. I like this. Me too, Kai agreed. And he meant it. This felt good. Normal. Like maybe they could actually be friends, not just two strangers forced into marriage. Then Elliot's phone buzzed on the table. He glanced at it, and his entire expression changed in an instant. The warmth in his eyes disappeared. His smile faded. His whole body tensed up. It was like watching someone put on a mask. The Elliot who had been asking excited questions about cooking vanished, replaced by someone cold and distant. Elliot stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. I need to go to the office. But you have not finished eating, Kai said, confused by the sudden change. I'm not hungry anymore. Elliot's voice was flat, emotionless. He grabbed his phone and headed toward his bedroom without looking back at Kai. Kai sat alone at the table, staring at the half-eaten breakfast. What just happened? 5 seconds ago, Elliot had been smiling and happy. Now he was acting like Kai did not exist. 10 minutes later, Elliot emerged from his bedroom wearing a perfectly tailored suit, his hair styled, looking every bit the powerful businessman. He walked right past the kitchen without even glancing at Kai. Elliot, Kai called out. Elliot paused at the door. Yes. When will you be home? Late. Don't wait up. His tone was cold, businesslike. Nothing like the warm person who had held Kai's hand last night. Okay. Have a good day at work. Elliot left without responding. The door closed with a soft click, and Kai was alone again. Kai cleaned up the breakfast dishes slowly, trying to make sense of what just happened. Was this going to be the pattern? Elliot being warm and affectionate at night, then cold and distant in the morning? Why? What was Elliot hiding? The day dragged on forever. Kai tried to keep himself busy. He unpacked more of his things. He explored the neighborhood. He called his mother to let her know he was okay. But mostly he just thought about Elliot. That evening, Kai made dinner even though he did not know if Elliot would be home to eat it. He made a simple pasta dish with garlic bread. He set the table for two just in case. But the hours passed, and Elliot did not come home. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Kai ate alone again. He put the leftovers in the refrigerator. He tried to watch television but could not focus. He kept glancing at the door, listening for footsteps. At 11:30, he finally heard the lock turning. Kai stood up from the couch, not sure what to expect. Would Elliot be cold again? Would he just walk past Kai to his bedroom? The door opened, and Elliot stepped inside. He looked exhausted. His tie was loose, his hair messy. There were deep shadows under his eyes. When he saw Kai standing in the living room, he froze. "You're still awake," Elliot said, and his voice was soft again. "Not cold like this morning. I told you not to wait up. I wanted to make sure you got home safely," Kai replied. Something flickered in Elliot's eyes. Relief? Happiness? It was gone too quickly for Kai to identify. "You don't need to worry about me. I'm your husband. Of course I worry." Elliot stared at Kai for a long moment. Then, without warning, his face went pale. He swayed on his feet. "Elliot!" Kai rushed forward and caught him just as his knees buckled. Up close, Kai could feel that Elliot's skin was burning hot. "You have a fever. Why did you go to work like this?" "I'm fine," Elliot mumbled, but he could barely stand. His whole body was shaking. "You're not fine. Come on." Kai wrapped Elliot's arm around his shoulders and half-carried, half-dragged him to the bedroom. Elliot's bedroom was as impersonal as the rest of the apartment. Gray walls, a huge bed with black sheets, minimal furniture. Kai helped Elliot sit on the edge of the bed, then rushed to get medicine and a cold cloth. When he came back, Elliot had slumped over on his side, curled up on top of the covers, still wearing his suit. He was shivering despite the fever. "Elliot, you need to take this medicine," Kai said gently, helping him sit up. Elliot took the pills without arguing, which showed how sick he really was. Kai helped him out of his jacket and shoes, then pressed the cold cloth to his forehead. "Thank you," Elliot whispered, his eyes already half closed. "When did you start feeling sick?" "This morning, maybe. I don't know." "And you still went to work?" "Elliot, that's dangerous." "Had meetings. Important meetings." Elliot's words were slurring together. He was falling asleep. Kai sighed. This stubborn alpha was going to worry him to death. He adjusted the cold cloth and was about to leave when Elliot's hand shot out and grabbed his wrist. "Stay," Elliot whispered, his eyes still closed. "Please don't go." Kai's heart clenched. "Okay, I'll stay." He sat on the edge of the bed, and immediately, Elliot shifted closer, resting his head on Kai's lap. Within seconds, Elliot's hand found Kai's, threading their fingers together. "You're warm," Elliot murmured. "Always so warm." Kai gently brushed Elliot's hair back from his hot forehead. "You should have told me you were not feeling well this morning. Didn't want to bother you. Elliot, we're married. Taking care of you is not a bother. That's what husbands do." Elliot's grip on Kai's hand tightened. "Can you stay here until I fall asleep?" "Of course." Kai sat there for over an hour, holding Elliot's hand, occasionally replacing the cold cloth, watching Elliot's face relax in sleep. Without his usual guarded expression, Elliot looked younger, softer, vulnerable. When Kai finally tried to leave, Elliot's hand refused to let go, even in sleep. Every time Kai tried to pull away, Elliot would make a small distressed sound and hold on tighter. Eventually, Kai gave up. He carefully lay down on top of the covers next to Elliot. Immediately, even in sleep, Elliot rolled toward him, pressing close, seeking warmth and comfort. Kai stayed awake for a while, thinking about this confusing alpha who was his husband. How could Elliot be so cold during the day and so vulnerable at night? What was he so afraid of? Eventually, exhaustion won, and Kai fell asleep with Elliot curled against him. When Kai woke up the next morning, he was alone. He sat up, confused. The bed beside him was empty and cold. Had last night been a dream? He found Elliot in the dining room, already dressed in another perfect suit, eating breakfast and reading something on his tablet. He looked completely normal, like he had not been sick at all last night. "Good morning," Kai said carefully, studying Elliot's face. Elliot looked up, his expression neutral. "Morning. How are you feeling?" "Your fever." "I'm fine." Elliot's tone was dismissive. "I wasn't sick, just tired." Kai stared at him in disbelief. "Elliot, you had a fever. You could barely walk. I had to help you to bed." "You must be mistaken. I slept in my own room. alone. I feel perfectly fine today. What? No. You asked me to stay with you. You held my hand all night. Elliot's face turned slightly pink, but his voice remained cool and controlled. I don't know what you're talking about. I slept alone last night. Kai felt frustration rising in his chest. Why are you lying? I was there. You were sick and I took care of you and you asked me to stay. I think you had a dream. Elliot stood up, placing his dishes in the sink. I have to go to work. I'll be late tonight again. Elliot, wait. But Elliot was already walking toward the door. He paused for just a second, his hand on the doorknob, not looking back. Thank you for breakfast yesterday. It was good. Then he was gone, leaving Kai standing in the dining room, completely confused and hurt. What game was Elliot playing? Why would he deny something that so clearly happened? Was he embarrassed? Ashamed? Kai spent the whole day thinking about it, trying to understand. By the time evening came, he was determined to confront Elliot about this pattern. Because it was definitely a pattern now. Warm at night, cold in the morning, then denying everything. But when midnight came and Elliot walked through the door looking exhausted, when he immediately came to find Kai and wrapped his arms around him without saying a word, when he buried his face in Kai's shoulder and just held on like Kai was his anchor to the world, all of Kai's planned confrontation melted away. Long day, Kai asked softly, his arms coming up to hold Elliot back. Elliot hummed. Missed you. And there it was. That confession that Elliot would deny in the morning. Kai decided to try something different. Elliot, why do you always deny this in the morning? He felt Elliot stiffen in his arms. Deny what? This. The way you act at night. The way you're holding me right now. I don't know what you mean. But Elliot's arms tightened around Kai, contradicting his words. You're doing it right now. You're hugging me. But tomorrow morning, you'll pretend this never happened. Elliot was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled back, and his face was guarded again. That mask sliding back into place. You're imagining things, Kai. I'm not. I'm going to my office to work. Elliot turned and walked away, leaving Kai frustrated. But 20 minutes later, Elliot came back. He did not say anything, just sat next to Kai on the couch. Close enough that their shoulders touched. Close enough that Kai could feel the heat from his body. They sat in silence, watching whatever was on TV without really seeing it. Can I ask you something? Kai finally said. Okay. Why did you agree to this marriage? Elliot was quiet for so long that Kai thought he would not answer. When he finally spoke, his voice was carefully controlled. My family needed the alliance with your family. Your family needed financial help. It made logical sense. That's it? Just business. Elliot's hands clenched into fists on his lap. What else would it be? I don't know. But the way you act sometimes, when you let your guard down, it doesn't feel like just business. You're reading too much into it. Elliot stood up abruptly. I'm tired. Good night. He left before Kai could say anything else. Kai sat alone on the couch, more confused than ever. What was Elliot so afraid of? Why could he not just be honest about his feelings? That night, Kai could not sleep. He lay in his bed, staring at the ceiling, his mind full of questions. Around 3 in the morning, he heard a sound from Elliot's room through the wall. It sounded like crying. Kai got up immediately and went to Elliot's door. He knocked softly. Elliot. No answer. Kai tried the door handle. It was unlocked. He pushed the door open slowly. Inside, the room was dark except for moonlight coming through the windows. Elliot was sitting on the floor next to his bed. His knees pulled up to his chest, his whole body shaking. Elliot! Kai rushed over and dropped to his knees beside him. Up close, he could see that Elliot was having trouble breathing. His eyes were wide and panicked. His chest was heaving with short, rapid breaths that were not getting enough air. Kai had seen this before. Panic attack. His friend in college used to get them. Elliot, listen to me, Kai said, keeping his voice calm and steady. You're having a panic attack. You need to breathe with me, okay? Look at me. Breathe in slowly. Kai demonstrated, taking a long, deep breath through his nose. Now out slowly through your mouth. Elliot tried to follow, but his breath kept catching. He was shaking so hard. Kai took Elliot's hands in his. You're okay. I'm here. Just focus on my voice. In through your nose, count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now out for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They did this together over and over. Slowly, gradually, Elliot's breathing began to even out. The panic in his eyes started to fade. His shaking lessened. Took about 15 minutes before Elliot was fully calm. When he immediately tried to pull away, but Kai held on to his hands. Don't, Kai said firmly. Don't shut me out. Not this time. Elliot's eyes were red. His face was wet with tears. You should not see me like this. Why not? We're married, Elliot. For better or worse. Remember, this is a contract marriage. It's not real. Is that what you really think? Kai asked gently. Because it feels pretty real to me. Elliot looked away, but Kai could see fresh tears starting to fall. You don't understand. Then help me understand. Talk to me, please. Elliot's voice cracked when he finally spoke. I'm scared. Of what? That you'll see who I really am and you'll leave. That you'll realize I'm not what you thought. That I'm not worth staying for. Elliot's voice was barely a whisper. Everyone leaves eventually. It's safer to keep distance. Safer to not let anyone get too close. Kai's heart broke for him. Elliot, look at me. Slowly, Elliot raised his eyes to meet Kai's. I'm not going anywhere, Kai said firmly. I know this marriage started as a business deal. I know we barely know each other. But I'm here. I'm staying. And I want to know the real you. All of you. Not just the cold businessman you show everyone else. But I'm not what you think. I'm sick. I have anxiety and panic attacks. I'm weak. The Reed family barely tolerates me because I'm not the strong alpha they wanted. Elliot laughed bitterly. You married the wrong person. You should have gotten someone better. Stop, Kai said sharply. Don't talk about yourself like that. You're not weak. You're dealing with real medical issues. That doesn't make you less than anyone else. Alphas are supposed to be strong. Says who? Some stupid, outdated social rule? Kai moved closer, still holding Elliot's hands tightly. You want to know what I see when I look at you? I see someone who goes to work even when he's sick because he feels responsible. I see someone who tries to cook breakfast for his new husband even though he has no idea how. I see someone who holds back his feelings because he's terrified of being hurt. That's not weakness, Elliot. That's someone who's been hurt before and is still trying his best. Elliot stared at him, tears streaming down his face now. I don't care that you're not some stereotypical strong alpha, Kai continued. I don't want perfect. I just want honest. Can you try that? Can you try being honest with me about how you feel? Elliot was quiet for a long moment. Then, slowly, he leaned forward and buried his face in Kai's shoulder. His arms wrapped tightly around Kai's waist. Holding on like Kai was the only solid thing in a spinning world. I'm so scared, Elliot whispered against Kai's neck. I know, but you don't have to be scared alone anymore. I'm here. I'm staying. I promise. They stayed like that on the floor until dawn light started filtering through the windows. Holding each other. Not talking. Just being together. And when the sun came up fully, for the first time, Elliot did not pull away. The morning light was soft in Elliot's bedroom. Kai expected Elliot to suddenly remember his walls and push Kai away. But Elliot just lifted his head from Kai's shoulder and looked at him with red, tired eyes. Thank you, Elliot said quietly, for last night, for staying with me. Kai blinked in surprise. You're not going to deny it happened? Elliot's lips twitched in what might have been a smile. I'm trying. To be honest, like you asked, is harder than it sounds. I know, Kai said gently, but thank you for trying. They got up from the floor slowly, both of them stiff from sitting all night. Kai stretched and winced at the pain in his back. Come on, Kai said, offering his hand. Let's make breakfast. I'm starving. Elliot took his hand and let Kai pull him up. They walked to the kitchen together, still holding hands, neither of them quite ready to let go yet. In the kitchen, Kai started pulling out ingredients while Elliot sat at the counter and watched. It was becoming their routine. Kai cooking, Elliot watching with those focused gray eyes. "Can I tell you something?" Elliot asked suddenly. "Of course. Always." Elliot's fingers traced invisible patterns on the counter. "I've been sick since I was a child. Heart problems, mostly. Nothing immediately life-threatening, but enough that my family always treated me like I was made of glass. They kept me isolated. Private tutors instead of school. No friends my age. No normal childhood. Just medicine and doctor appointments and being told to be careful, always be careful." Kai set a plate of eggs and toast in front of Elliot but did not say anything. He could tell Elliot needed to get this out. "And then when I presented as an alpha at 15, everything got worse," Elliot continued, his voice bitter. "Suddenly, my family expected me to be the strong, commanding, perfect heir. But I couldn't be. I'm not strong. I get panic attacks. I have anxiety. I'm not the alpha they wanted." He looked up at Kai, his eyes vulnerable. "They're disappointed in me. They've always been disappointed in me." Kai felt anger rise in his chest. Not at Elliot, but at his family for making him feel this way. "That's their problem, not yours." Elliot looked surprised. "What?" "I said it's their problem. You don't have to live up to anyone's expectations, Elliot. Not your family's, not society's, not even mine. But what do you expect from me? As your husband?" Kai thought about it as he cooked his own breakfast. "Honesty. That's really all. I don't need you to be the perfect alpha. I don't need you to be strong all the time. I just want to know the real you. I want you to feel safe enough with me to be yourself." Elliot's eyes became suspiciously bright. He looked down at his plate quickly. "You're strange, you know that?" "I've been told," Kai said with a smile. "Now eat your breakfast before it gets cold." They ate in comfortable silence. When they finished, Elliot stood up and carried his dishes to the sink. As he walked past Kai, he paused, hesitated for just a second, then quickly leaned down and pressed a soft kiss to the top of Kai's head. Kai's face immediately turned red. "Did you just—" "I have to get ready for work," Elliot said quickly, already walking toward his bedroom. But Kai could hear the smile in his voice. Kai sat at the counter, touching the spot where Elliot had kissed him, grinning like an idiot. That evening, Elliot came home at a normal hour for the first time since they got married. It was only 7 o'clock. He walked into the living room where Kai was reading and just stood there, looking awkward and uncertain. "Hi," Elliot said. "Hi," Kai replied, smiling at him. "Can I sit with you?" "You don't have to ask. This is your home too." Elliot sat down on the couch, leaving a small gap between them. He looked like he wanted to say something but did not know how. "How was work?" Kai prompted, setting his book aside. "Long, boring. I kept thinking about—" Elliot stopped, his face turning red. "About what?" "About coming home. To you." Elliot said it quickly, like ripping off a bandage, not meeting Kai's eyes. Kai felt warmth spread through his chest. Yeah. Is that weird?" "No. It's really nice, actually." They sat in silence for a moment. Then, slowly, carefully, Elliot scooted closer until their shoulders were touching. Kai could feel Elliot trembling slightly, nervous about being close. "Is this okay?" Elliot asked quietly, his voice uncertain. Instead of answering with words, Kai reached over and took Elliot's hand, threading their fingers together. He felt Elliot relax beside him, felt the trembling stop. Elliot let out a shaky breath. "I'm not good at this." "At what?" "Being close to someone. Showing affection. All of it." Elliot stared at their joined hands. "I want to be, though. With you. I want to try." "We can learn together," Kai said softly. "There's no rush. We have time." Elliot nodded, and they stayed like that for hours, just sitting together, watching TV that neither of them really paid attention to, hands linked, shoulders touching. It was simple, but it felt important, like they were building something real between them, one small moment at a time. When it got late and was time for bed, Elliot hesitated in the hallway outside their bedrooms. "Good night, Kai," Elliot said, but he did not move toward his room. "Good night." Elliot took a step toward his bedroom, then stopped and turned back. He looked embarrassed, his face pink. "Can I ask you something?" "You can say no. It's probably stupid anyway." "What is it?" Kai asked gently. Elliot looked at the floor, unable to meet Kai's eyes. "I sleep better when you're nearby. I know that's weird. I know we have separate rooms for a reason. But ever since that night when you stayed with me, I've been sleeping better than I have in years. I understand if it's too much to ask. We barely know each other, really, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable." "Elliot," Kai interrupted his rambling. "Are you asking if I'll sleep in your room tonight?" Elliot nodded, still not looking up. "I'd like that," Kai said simply. Elliot's head snapped up, his eyes wide. "Really? You're not just saying that to be nice. Really? I sleep better when you're nearby too." Elliot's smile was so bright it could have lit up the entire dark hallway. "Okay, good. That's really good." They got ready for bed separately, both changing into comfortable pajamas. When Kai entered Elliot's bedroom, Elliot was already lying on one side of the huge bed, leaving plenty of space on the other side. Kai climbed into bed, and they lay there in the dark, maintaining a careful distance between them. "This is nice," Elliot said to the ceiling. "Yeah," Kai agreed. They were both quiet for a moment. Then Elliot spoke again. "Kai, thank you for being patient with me, for not giving up on me even though I'm difficult." Kai rolled onto his side to face Elliot in the darkness. "You're not difficult. You're just learning how to trust someone. That takes time." Elliot turned his head to look at Kai. Even in the dim light from the window, Kai could see the softness in his eyes. "I'm going to try to be better at this, at being open with you. I can't promise I won't mess up or get scared and pull away sometimes. But I want to try. That's all I ask. And Elliot, it goes both ways. If I do something that bothers you, or if you need space, tell me. We're figuring this out together." Elliot's hand slowly crept across the bed until it found Kai's. Their fingers intertwined. "I'm glad I married you. I know it was arranged. I know neither of us had a choice. But I'm still glad it was you." Kai's throat felt tight with emotion. "Me too. I'm glad too." They fell asleep like that, hands linked across the space between them, both of them feeling less alone than they had in a long time. Kai woke up to find the distance between them had disappeared during the night. Elliot was pressed against his side, one arm draped over Kai's waist, his face buried in Kai's shoulder. Somehow in sleep they had gravitated toward each other. It should have been awkward. They had only been married for a few weeks, but instead it felt natural, right? "Elliot," Kai whispered, not wanting to startle him. "You're going to be late for work." Elliot groaned and held Kai tighter. "Don't want to go." "You have to." "5 more minutes," Elliot mumbled against Kai's shoulder. "You said that 10 minutes ago," Kai said, trying not to laugh. "Then 5 more after that." Kai did laugh this time. "Come on. I'll make you breakfast if you get up now. Only if we can do this every day. Wake up like this, Elliot finally lifted his head to look at Kai, his hair messy from sleep, his eyes still half closed. "Like what?" "Together. Next to you." Elliot's gray eyes were soft, open, showing emotion instead of hiding it. "I like waking up with you here." Kai felt his face heat up. "I like it too." Elliot smiled, then leaned forward and pressed a gentle kiss to Kai's forehead. "Good morning." Before Kai could respond to the kiss, Elliot jumped out of bed. "I'm taking a shower." He practically ran to the bathroom, and Kai could hear him humming. Kai lay there for a moment, touching his forehead where Elliot had kissed him, smiling like a fool. This was the second time Elliot had kissed him in some way. Were they progressing, moving toward something more than just a business arrangement? They made breakfast together, and this time Elliot actually helped instead of just watching. He could not do much beyond buttering toast and setting the table, but he was trying. Kai found his clumsy attempts endearing. "I have a business dinner tonight," Elliot mentioned while putting on his suit jacket. I probably won't be home until late. Maybe 10 or 11. That's okay. I'll save you some dinner. Elliot walked to the door, then hesitated. He turned back, walked over to Kai, and quickly hugged him. I'll miss you. I'll miss you too, Kai said, hugging him back. Elliot pulled away, his face red, but he was smiling. Okay, I really have to go now. See you tonight. After Elliot left, Kai spent the day organizing things around the apartment. He was starting to feel more at home here. He had added small touches, a plant on the kitchen counter, his favorite coffee mug, some photos of his family on the shelf. Little things that made the cold, modern space feel warmer. Around 6 in the evening, the doorbell rang. Kai was not expecting anyone. He checked the video intercom and saw a tall, handsome alpha with sharp features standing in the hallway. The man was looking directly at the camera with a confident smile. Hello, Kai said through the intercom. Hi, you must be Kai. I'm Nathan Cross, Elliot's business partner and close friend. Is Elliot home? Something about the way Nathan said close friend made Kai uncomfortable, but he could not explain why. No, he's at work. Ah, that's unfortunate. I have some important documents for him. May I come up and wait? I'm sure he'll be home soon. Kai hesitated. Should he let a stranger into the apartment, even if he claimed to be Elliot's friend? But then again, if Nathan was really Elliot's business partner, it would be rude to turn him away. Okay, come up. Kai regretted it the moment he opened the door and Nathan walked in. Nathan moved through the apartment like he owned it, his eyes taking in everything. Nice place, very Elliot, all modern and minimalist. Though I see you've added some personal touches. That's cute. The way he said cute felt dismissive, almost mocking. Did you say you had documents for Elliot? Kai asked, wanting to hurry this along. Yes, in my car. I'll get them in a bit. First, I wanted to meet you properly. I've been so curious about the person who finally got Elliot Reed to marry. Nathan sat down on the couch without being invited, making himself comfortable. So, arranged marriage, right? That must be difficult, being married to someone you barely know. We're getting to know each other, Kai said carefully, not sitting down. He stayed standing, wanting to maintain some distance. Are you? Nathan's smile did not reach his eyes. Elliot's not the easiest person to understand. He's complicated. Damaged, some might say. Kai felt anger flash through him. I don't think. I'm just being honest. Nathan interrupted smoothly. Elliot and I have known each other since we were teenagers. I probably know him better than anyone. All his secrets, all his problems. The panic attacks, the anxiety, the health issues. There's a lot to deal with. Overwhelming for someone who just signed up for a simple business marriage, I imagine. I can handle it. Can you? Nathan leaned forward, his eyes sharp. You've been married, what, 3 weeks? Give it a few months. When the novelty wears off and you realize how much of a burden Elliot is, how exhausting it is to deal with his constant needs and issues, you'll understand what I mean. Elliot is not a burden, Kai said firmly, his hands clenching into fists. Of course not, Nathan said with fake sincerity. But I'm just saying, if you ever need someone to talk to about him, I'm available. We could meet for coffee, discuss strategies for dealing with his moods. I have years of experience, after all. I don't think that would be appropriate. Nathan stood up and walked closer to Kai. Too close, invading his personal space. Why not? We're practically family now. Elliot's business is my business. And between you and me, I worry about him. He needs someone who truly understands him. Someone with experience dealing with alphas like him. I understand him just fine. Do you really? Or are you just trying to convince yourself that this marriage is more than what it is? A business transaction that's convenient for both families. Before Kai could respond, he heard the sound of the front door opening. Elliot stood in the doorway, still in his work clothes, his face pale. His eyes were locked on Nathan with an expression Kai had never seen before. Cold, hard, almost dangerous. What are you doing here, Nathan? Elliot's voice was ice. Nathan turned with that same smooth smile. Elliot, I was just meeting your lovely husband. We were having a very interesting conversation. Is that true, Kai? Elliot asked, his eyes moving to Kai now, something vulnerable flashing across his face. He said he had documents for you, Kai explained quickly, seeing the hurt in Elliot's eyes. I didn't know. I have email for documents. Elliot cut him off, his gaze snapping back to Nathan. You have no reason to be in my home, Nathan. Nathan raised his hands in mock surrender. Fine, fine. I was just leaving anyway. But Elliot, we need to talk soon. About the company. About your position. Your father has some concerns. My father can speak to me directly. Can he? You've been ignoring his calls. Not showing up to family dinners. People are starting to talk. Wondering if marriage has made you soft. Wondering if you're still capable of running your division. Nathan's eyes flickered to Kai with something that looked like contempt. Some distractions are more costly than others. Elliot took a step forward, and for the first time, Kai saw him look truly angry. Get out, now, and don't come back to my home again. Nathan walked toward the door slowly, deliberately. As he passed Elliot, he leaned in close and said something too quiet for Kai to hear. Whatever it was made Elliot's whole body go rigid. After Nathan left, the apartment was filled with heavy silence. Elliot stood frozen by the door, his hands clenched into fists, his shoulders tight with tension. Elliot, Kai approached carefully. What did he say to you? Elliot did not answer. He did not move. Kai could see he was shaking slightly. Elliot, please talk to me. Finally, Elliot turned to look at Kai, and the pain in his eyes made Kai's chest ache. What did Nathan say to you? Before I came home. Nothing important. He was just trying to cause problems. What did he say? Elliot's voice was tight, controlled, like he was barely holding it together. Kai sighed. He implied that you're too much trouble, that I'll realize you're a burden and leave. He offered to help me deal with you. It was ridiculous. Elliot closed his eyes. He's right. What? No, he's not. He's right that I'm too much trouble. I have panic attacks. I have health problems. I can't even handle normal stress without falling apart. You didn't sign up for all of this. Elliot's voice was becoming more strained. Nathan wanted to marry me. Before you. He made an offer to my family, but they chose your family's proposal instead. Better business terms. And Nathan has never forgiven me for that rejection. He's been trying to undermine our marriage ever since. Kai felt cold. Does he still want to marry you? I don't know. I don't care. Elliot finally opened his eyes and looked directly at Kai. But I need you to understand something. Nathan is my past. Whatever he might have wanted, whatever might have been possible between us, it doesn't matter. I chose you. This marriage might have been arranged by our families, but staying in it, trying to make it real, that's my choice. You're my choice. Kai felt warmth spread through his chest. Really? Yes. Elliot took a step closer. Nathan is wrong about me being a burden. Or rather, if I am a burden, then I'm your burden. And you're mine. That's how marriage works, right? We carry each other. Kai crossed the remaining distance between them and pulled Elliot into a tight hug. He felt Elliot immediately melt into the embrace, burying his face in Kai's shoulder. I'm sorry he came here, Elliot said, his voice muffled. I'm sorry you had to deal with him alone. It's not your fault, and I can handle Nathan. What I can't handle is you doubting yourself because of what he said. They held each other for a long moment. When they pulled apart, Elliot looked exhausted but also lighter somehow. Like talking about Nathan had lifted a weight. You came home early, Kai observed. I thought you had a business dinner. Elliot's face turned slightly red. I did. But I kept thinking about you being home alone, and I just wanted to see you. So I made an excuse and left early. You left an important business dinner just to come home to me? Is that okay? Was it stupid? Kai smiled and took Elliot's hand. No, it's really sweet. And I'm glad you're here. That night, they fell asleep in each other's arms again, and Kai felt certain of something. Whatever challenges they faced, Nathan's interference, family pressure, Elliot's health issues, they would face them together. They were becoming a team, a real married couple, and that felt good. The next few weeks felt like a dream. Kai and Elliot fell into a comfortable routine. They had breakfast together every morning. Elliot came home earlier most evenings. They cooked dinner together, or rather, Kai cooked while Elliot tried to help and usually made a mess. They watched TV on the couch, sitting close, holding hands. They slept in the same bed every night, gradually moving closer together until they always woke up tangled in each other's arms. Elliot was getting better at showing affection openly. He would hug Kai goodbye in the mornings. He would text Kai cute messages during the day. He would kiss Kai's forehead or cheek without warning, then get embarrassed about it. But Kai noticed something worrying. Elliot was getting thinner. His face looked more tired. The circles under his eyes were darker, and his panic attacks were becoming more frequent. "I'm fine," Elliot would say whenever Kai expressed concern. "Just work stress." But Kai knew it was more than that. He could see Elliot was struggling. He just did not know how to help when Elliot would not admit there was a problem. One morning, everything changed. Kai woke up alone in bed, which was unusual. Elliot was always the one who wanted 5 more minutes of cuddling. Kai got up and went looking for him. He found Elliot in the bathroom, sitting on the cold tile floor, his back against the bathtub. He was pale and shaking, one hand pressed against his chest. "Elliot!" Kai dropped to his knees beside him, his heart racing with fear. "What's wrong?" "Just dizzy," Elliot mumbled. But his voice was weak. "I'm okay." He was very clearly not okay. His lips had a slight blue tint. His breathing was shallow and fast. "We need to get you to a hospital," Kai said, trying to stay calm even though he was terrified. "No hospital. Just need to sit for a minute." "Elliot, please." "I'm fine," Elliot said more forcefully, then immediately winced and pressed harder against his chest. Kai made a decision. He pulled out his phone and called the emergency number listed in Elliot's medical information on the refrigerator. It connected him directly to Elliot's private doctor. "This is Kai Chen, Elliot Reed's husband. Elliot is having some kind of episode. He's pale, dizzy, having chest pains. Can you come to the apartment?" The doctor arrived within 30 minutes. He examined Elliot thoroughly while Kai waited anxiously in the living room. After what felt like hours, the doctor came out. "Your husband's heart condition is worsening," the doctor said bluntly. "The stress from work and family pressures has been affecting him badly. His heart is working too hard, and his body cannot keep up with the demands he is placing on it. He needs complete rest for at least a month. No work, no stressful situations. Just rest, medication, and careful monitoring." Kai felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. Is it serious? Is he going to be okay? If he takes care of himself, yes. But if he continues the way he has been, working long hours, skipping meals, not sleeping properly, then yes, it could become very serious. I've been warning him for months, but he refuses to listen. Perhaps he'll listen to you. After the doctor left, Kai went back to the bathroom. Elliot was still sitting on the floor, looking small and defeated. Kai sat down next to him, their shoulders touching. "Why didn't you tell me it was this bad?" "I didn't want you to worry. Elliot, we're married. Married people worry about each other. That's normal. That's what we're supposed to do." "I know. I'm sorry." Elliot leaned his head on Kai's shoulder. "I was scared. Scared you'd see how weak I really am and regret marrying me." Kai felt his chest tighten with emotion. "I could never regret you. Never. But I'm broken, Kai. My heart is literally broken. I can't even handle normal life stress without my body falling apart. What kind of husband is that?" "You're not broken." Kai took Elliot's hand and held it tightly. "You have a medical condition. That's not the same thing. It doesn't make you weak or less than anyone else. It just means you need to take care of yourself. I'm supposed to take care of you. I'm the alpha in this marriage." Kai turned to face Elliot fully. "Stop. Just stop with this alpha nonsense. I don't care about those stupid social rules. We're partners. We take care of each other. That's how this works. That's how we work." Elliot's eyes filled with tears. "I'm scared, Kai. I'm scared that if I slow down, if I show weakness, my family will use it as an excuse to push me out of the company. I'm scared Nathan will use it to prove I'm not capable. I'm scared you'll realize I can't give you the life you deserve. I don't want any life that doesn't include you in it, Kai said firmly. I don't care about the company or what your family thinks or what Nathan says. Care about you. Just you. And right now, you need to rest and get better. Everything else can wait. But my responsibilities can be handled by someone else for a month. The company will survive without you. But I need you healthy. I need you alive and well and here with me. Can you do that? Can you put yourself first for once? Elliot stared at Kai for a long moment, tears streaming down his face. Then he nodded. Okay, I'll try. Good. Kai helped Elliot up. Come on, let's get you to bed. Doctor's orders are complete rest, and I'm going to make sure you follow them. The next few days were difficult. Elliot hated being confined to bed. He kept trying to work from his laptop until Kai literally hid it. He wanted to check emails and make phone calls until Kai took his phone away too. This is ridiculous, Elliot protested. I have responsibilities. Your first responsibility is to yourself, Kai said firmly, not giving the phone back. Everything else comes second. But my father can deal with it. He's a grown man who ran the company before you. He can handle it for a few weeks. Nathan will use this against me. He'll tell everyone I'm weak. Let him. Anyone who matters will understand that taking care of your health is not weakness. It's smart. And anyone who doesn't understand that isn't worth worrying about. Elliot looked at Kai with something like wonder. You're really not going to let me out of bed, are you? Not until the doctor says it's okay. You're kind of bossy when you want to be. Kai smiled. Only when you're being stubborn about taking care of yourself. Now, are you hungry? I'll make you some soup. Over the following days, Kai took care of Elliot with fierce determination. He cooked healthy meals and made sure Elliot ate every bite. He monitored medication schedules carefully. He read to Elliot when he was bored. He put on movies and shows to keep him entertained. He held him at night when anxiety made it hard to sleep. Nathan tried to visit several times. Each time, Kai turned him away at the door. Elliot is resting. He's not seeing visitors or taking work calls. I just want to check on him, Nathan said with false concern. As his friend and business partner, I'm worried. He doesn't need your concern. He has me. Now please leave and don't come back. One time, Nathan tried to push past Kai into the apartment. Kai physically blocked him, standing firm in the doorway. I said no. If you try to force your way in, I'll call security and have you removed from the building. Nathan's eyes flashed with anger, his friendly mask slipping. You think you can keep me away from Elliot? I've known him for years. You've been married for what, a month? You're nothing. Just a convenient solution to a business problem. When Elliot realizes how much of a burden you are, how little you actually contribute, he'll see that he made a mistake. He'll see that he should have chosen me. Get out, Kai said coldly, and don't come back. Ever. After Nathan left, Kai found Elliot sitting up in bed. He had heard everything from the bedroom. You defended me again, Elliot said softly, his eyes shining. Of course I did. That's what you do for people you care about. No one's ever done that for me before. Stood up to my family, to Nathan, to all of them. Elliot held out his hand, and Kai took it, sitting on the edge of the bed. You're amazing, Kai. I don't know what I did to deserve you, but I'm grateful every single day. You exist. That's enough for me. Over the following weeks, Elliot slowly got better. Color returned to his face. He could walk around the apartment without getting dizzy. He laughed more. The fear and tension that had always been present in his eyes started to fade. One evening, they were sitting on the couch together. Elliot's head was in Kai's lap while Kai played with his hair, something that had become Elliot's favorite thing. I've been thinking, Elliot said quietly. About what? About stepping down from the company. Or at least reducing my role significantly. Maybe just keeping a consultant position. Kai's hand stilled in Elliot's hair. Really? Are you sure? My health has to come first. The doctor was clear about that. And honestly, I've realized something during these past few weeks. I don't even like the work. I only did it because it was expected of me. Because I thought I had to prove I was worthy of being a Reed heir despite my health problems. Elliot turned to look up at Kai. But I don't want to spend my life trying to live up to other people's expectations. I want a real life. A life that makes me happy. A life with you. Kai's chest felt warm. What would you do instead of working at the company? I don't know yet. Maybe something creative. I always liked drawing when I was a kid. Maybe I could learn to paint. Or maybe I just take time to figure out what I actually enjoy. Is that okay? Does it scare you that I might not be the successful businessman you married? Kai leaned down and kissed Elliot's forehead gently. I didn't marry a businessman. I married you. Whatever you want to do with your life, whatever makes you happy, I support you. We'll figure it out together. Elliot sat up and pulled Kai into a deep kiss. It was not their first kiss, but it was the first one that felt like this, desperate, grateful, full of emotion. When they pulled apart, they were both breathing heavily. I love you, Elliot whispered, looking directly into Kai's eyes. I know we haven't been married long. I know it started as an arrangement. But somewhere along the way I fell in love with you. The way you take care of me without making me feel weak. The way you stand up for me. The way you make me want to be honest and brave. I love you, Kai. So much. Kai's eyes filled with tears. I love you too. You're kind and sweet and so much stronger than you think you are. You make me laugh. You try so hard to be open even when it terrifies you. You care so deeply about everything. How could I not love you? Elliot pulled Kai close again, burying his face in Kai's neck. I don't deserve you. Yes, you do. You deserve everything good in this world. They held each other for a long time, both of them crying happy tears, finally admitting what had been growing between them for weeks. That night, they officially moved all of Kai's remaining things into Elliot's bedroom. Their bedroom now. No more pretending to have separate spaces. No more holding back. They were together. Fully, completely, honestly together. When they lay in bed that night, wrapped in each other's arms, Elliot whispered, "Thank you for not giving up on me. For staying when things got hard. Where would I go?" Kai kissed the top of Elliot's head. "You're my home now." "You're mine too," Elliot said, holding Kai tighter. "My home. My heart. Everything." 3 months had passed since Elliot's health crisis. He had officially stepped down as CEO and taken a consulting role that let him work from home just a few hours a week. His health had improved dramatically. He was eating regularly, sleeping well, and the panic attacks had become rare. Elliot had also discovered a passion for painting. He had turned the spare room into an art studio and spent hours there each day, creating beautiful abstract pieces that reflected his emotions and experiences. Kai had enrolled in online culinary classes. He had always loved cooking, but now he was learning proper techniques and expanding his skills. He was even thinking about maybe opening his own restaurant someday. Their relationship had deepened too. They were no longer two strangers trying to figure out an arranged marriage. They were partners, best friends, and very much in love. One Saturday morning, Kai woke up to find Elliot staring at him again. "You know, this is still creepy," Kai mumbled, still half asleep. "I don't care. You look peaceful when you sleep. I like watching you." Elliot leaned down and kissed Kai's nose. "Good morning." "Morning." Kai stretched, yawning. "What time is it?" "Early. Around 7. But I wanted to give you something before you fully wake up." Kai opened his eyes fully now, curious. "Give me what?" Elliot reached over to his nightstand and pulled out a small velvet box. Kai's heart started beating faster. "We've been married for almost 6 months now," Elliot said, his voice slightly nervous. "And I know we did everything backward. We got married first because of the contract and then we fell in love after. But I want to do this part right." He opened the box to reveal 2 beautiful rings. They were elegant and simple, with small stones that caught the morning light. "I never gave you a proper ring when we got married. It was just those plain bands that came with the contract. But you're not a contract to me anymore. You haven't been for a long time. You're my husband, my partner, the person I love most in the world." Elliot took out one of the rings. So I'm asking you now, properly, the way I should have from the beginning. Kaichin, will you marry me? Again? For real this time? Not because our families arranged it, but because I choose you and you choose me. Kai's eyes filled with tears. You're such a romantic fool. Is that a yes? Yes. 1,000 times yes. I'll marry you again and again if you want. Elliot smiled so brightly it could have powered the entire city. He slipped the ring onto Kai's finger, and it fit perfectly. Then Kai took the other ring and placed it on Elliot's finger, both of them laughing and crying at the same time. They kissed, soft and sweet, sealing this new promise between them. I love you, Elliot whispered against Kai's lips. I love you too. They spent the morning in bed, just holding each other, talking about their future. They decided they wanted to have a small ceremony with just close friends and Kai's parents. No Reed family members. Elliot had set firm boundaries with his family, and while they were not happy about his life choices, they had learned to accept them. A week later, they had their real wedding. It was in a small garden with flowers everywhere. Kai's parents cried happy tears. Their few close friends cheered. And when Elliot said his vows, looking directly into Kai's eyes with so much love and honesty, Kai felt like the luckiest person alive. I promise to always be honest with you, even when it's scary. I promise to take care of my health so I can be with you for as long as possible. I promise to support your dreams and hold your hand through challenges. I promise to love you not just in the quiet moments at night, but in the bright light of day. I'm done hiding how I feel. I love you, Kai. Completely. Forever. Kai's vows were just as heartfelt. I promise to stand by you always. I promise to see your strength even when you doubt yourself. I promise to be patient when you struggle and celebrate when you succeed. I promise to make you laugh and feed you good food and hold you when you need it. I love you, Elliot. Not because of an arrangement or a contract, but because you are the kindest, bravest, most wonderful person I know. They kissed as husbands, real husbands this time, bound by love, not just by legal documents. The reception was small and joyful. They danced in the garden, ate good food, and celebrated with the people who truly cared about them. Nathan had tried one final time to interfere. He had shown up uninvited and attempted to speak with Elliot, probably planning to make some scene or cast doubt on the marriage. But Elliot had looked him directly in the eye and said clearly, "You're not welcome here. You never were. Leave now, or I'll have security remove you." Nathan had left, finally understanding that he had lost whatever chance he thought he had. That night, back in their apartment, Kai and Elliot slow danced in the living room with no music playing. Just the sound of their breathing and heartbeats, perfectly in sync. "Are you happy?" Kai asked softly. "Happier than I ever thought I could be," Elliot replied. "Are you?" "Yes." "So yes." Elliot pulled back to look at Kai's face. "Do you remember when we first got married? How awkward everything was. How I used to deny hugging you every morning because I was too scared to admit how much I needed you." Kai laughed. "You were so bad at lying. I always knew you remembered." Elliot's face turned red. "You knew." "Of course I knew. You're not as sneaky as you think. I was such an idiot. You were scared. There's a difference." Kai reached up to cup Elliot's face gently. "I'm glad you're not scared anymore. I'm glad you let me in. You didn't give me much choice. You just kept being patient and kind and wonderful until I couldn't help but trust you." Elliot leaned down to rest his forehead against Kai's. "You saved me, you know, from my family's expectations, from Nathan's manipulation, from my own fear. You taught me that it's okay to be vulnerable, that needing someone isn't weakness. And you taught me that arranged marriages can turn into real love," Kai said with a smile. "That sometimes the best things in life are the ones we don't plan." They kissed again, and it felt like coming home. Like everything in their lives had led to this moment, this person, this love. Over the next few months, they built their life together. Elliot's paintings started getting recognition, and he had his first small gallery show. Kai finished his culinary course and started planning his dream restaurant. They adopted a cat together, a small orange tabby they named Miso, who became Elliot's painting companion. Elliot's health continued to improve. He still had difficult days sometimes, days when anxiety made everything harder. But now he had Kai to help him through them. And Kai had learned when to push and when to simply hold Elliot and let him feel whatever he needed to feel. They were happy, truly deeply happy. One evening, about 8 months after their real wedding, Elliot received an unexpected call. It was from his mother. Kai watched as Elliot's expression changed while he listened. His jaw tightened. His eyes grew cold. After a few minutes, he ended the call and sat down heavily on the couch. "What's wrong?" Kai asked, sitting beside him. "My father is sick. My mother wants me to come to the family estate tomorrow. She says it's important." Elliot's voice was flat, emotionless. Kai took his hand. "Do you want to go?" "I don't know. I haven't spoken to them since our wedding. Since I told them I was stepping down from the company." Elliot looked at Kai with uncertainty. "They made it clear I was a disappointment, that I was weak and embarrassing to the family name." "Then you don't owe them anything. But he's still my father. Even if he's been terrible, even if he's never understood me or supported me." Elliot squeezed Kai's hand. "Will you come with me? I don't think I can face them alone." "Of course. I'll be right beside you the whole time." The next day, they drove to the Reed family estate. It was a massive property outside the city, with a huge mansion that looked more like a museum than a home. Cold, impressive, unwelcoming. Elliot's mother greeted them at the door. She was an elegant woman with sharp eyes and a face that showed no warmth. "Elliot," she said with a slight nod. Then her eyes moved to Kai with barely concealed judgment. "And your husband?" "Mother," Elliot replied coolly. "Where's father?" "In his study. He's been asking for you." She led them through the mansion without another word. Kai held Elliot's hand tightly as they walked through halls filled with expensive art and cold marble. He could feel Elliot trembling slightly. Elliot's father was in his study, sitting behind a massive desk. He looked older than Kai expected, thinner, with gray skin that suggested his illness was serious. But his eyes were still sharp and calculating. "Elliot, you finally came." His voice was rough but commanding. "You asked for me." Elliot's voice was steady, but Kai could feel his hand shaking. "Sit down. We need to discuss the family business." "I'm no longer involved in the family business." "That's what we need to discuss." His father's eyes moved to Kai. "Leave us. This is family business." "Kai is my family," Elliot said firmly. "Whatever you have to say, you can say in front of him." His father frowned but didn't argue. "Fine. Elliot, I'll be direct. I'm dying. The doctors give me maybe 6 months. The company needs strong leadership, and Nathan has been pushing to be named my successor." "Then name him. I don't care about the company." "You should care. It's your birthright, your legacy. It's never been mine. You made that clear my entire life. I was never the son you wanted. Never strong enough, healthy enough, alpha enough." Elliot's voice was getting louder, years of pain coming out. "You treated me like a failure from the moment I presented. You never asked what I wanted or how I felt. You just kept pushing and pushing, expecting me to be something I'm not. I expected you to be strong, to overcome your weaknesses. I am strong." Elliot was standing now, his whole body shaking with emotion. "I'm stronger than you ever gave me credit for. I survived your disappointment. I survived your rejection. I survived being told every day that I wasn't good enough. And I'm still here, still standing, still fighting to be happy despite everything you did to make me feel worthless." His father looked taken aback. He had probably never heard Elliot speak like this. "I don't want your company," Elliot continued, his voice breaking. "I don't want your approval. I don't need it anymore. I have someone who loves me exactly as I am. Someone who doesn't need me to be perfect. Someone who sees my worth even when I can't see it myself." He looked at Kai with so much love. "That's worth more than any company or any inheritance or any approval from you." Kai stood up and moved to stand beside Elliot, taking his hand. Elliot's father stared at them both. "So that's it? You're walking away from everything?" "No. I'm walking towards something better. A life that makes me happy. A life with purpose and love and meaning." Something you never understood. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is spending so many years trying to earn love that was never going to be given freely. Elliot turned to leave, pulling Kai with him. Wait! His father called out. They stopped but didn't turn around. I don't understand you. I probably never will. But I can see you're happier than I've ever seen you. His voice was quieter now, almost uncertain. Maybe I was wrong. About what you needed. About who you should be. Elliot turned back slowly. Thank you for saying that. It doesn't fix everything. It doesn't make up for years of feeling like I wasn't enough. But it's something. Will you come visit? Before I... His father couldn't finish the sentence. Elliot was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. Maybe, if you can accept me as I am now. Accept Kai as my husband. Accept that I'm not coming back to the company. If you can do that, then yes, I'll visit. His father nodded slowly. I'll try. They left the estate, and once they were in the car, Elliot broke down. He cried while Kai held him, all the years of pain and rejection finally being released. You were so brave in there, Kai said softly, stroking Elliot's hair. I'm so proud of you. I couldn't have done it without you. Knowing you were there, knowing I had you to come home to, it made me strong enough to finally say everything I needed to say. They drove home in comfortable silence, Kai's hand holding Elliot's the whole way. Over the next few months, Elliot did visit his father a few times. The conversations were awkward and difficult, but they were trying. His father was learning to see Elliot as he really was, not as the person he had wanted him to be. It was not perfect. It would probably never be perfect. But it was healing. And that was enough. 1 year after their real wedding, Kai and Elliot celebrated their anniversary. Not the anniversary of their contract marriage, but the anniversary of the day they had chosen each other out of love. They had come so far. Elliot's art was gaining recognition. He had a show coming up at a prestigious gallery. Kai's restaurant plans were moving forward. They had found a perfect location and were working on designs and menus. But more importantly, they were happy. They had built a life together based on trust, honesty, and genuine love. One evening, they were in Elliot's art studio. Elliot was painting while Kai sat nearby, reading a cookbook and taking notes. Kai, Elliot said suddenly. Do you ever regret it? Marrying me? Kai looked up from his book, surprised. Where is this coming from? I was just thinking. You gave up a lot for this marriage. Your freedom to choose who you wanted to marry. Maybe finding someone without all my problems and complications. Elliot wasn't looking at Kai, focusing on his canvas instead. Kai set his book down and walked over to stand behind Elliot, wrapping his arms around him. Elliot, read. Look at me. Elliot put down his brush and turned to face Kai. I don't regret a single moment, Kai said firmly. Yes, our marriage started as an arrangement. Yes, I didn't choose you in the beginning. But I choose you every single day now. I choose your sweetness. I choose your vulnerability. I choose your strength and your art and your terrible cooking skills. Elliot laughed, his eyes getting watery. My cooking has gotten better. Barely, Kai teased. But I choose that too. I choose all of you. The good days and the difficult ones. The moments when you're confident and the moments when you doubt yourself. All of it. Because you're mine and I'm yours. And that's exactly how I want it. I choose you too, Elliot said softly. Every day. Every moment. They kissed, gentle and sweet, surrounded by Elliot's paintings and the soft light of the studio. Hey Kai. Yeah. Remember how I used to deny being clingy? How I would act like I didn't remember hugging you or holding your hand? Kai smiled. How could I forget? You were so obvious about lying. Elliot's face turned red. I have a confession. I actually remembered everything. Every single hug. Every time I held your hand. Every moment I fell asleep in your arms. I just didn't want to admit how much I needed you. I thought if I acknowledged it, you'd have power over me. That being vulnerable would make me weak. And now I know that being vulnerable with you isn't weakness. It's trust. It's love. Elliot pulled Kai closer. So yes, I'm clingy. I need you. I love waking up next to you and falling asleep in your arms. I love cooking with you even though I'm terrible at it. I love every single moment of our life together. And I'm not ashamed of any of it anymore. Good, because I love your clingy side. I love that you need me as much as I need you. Promise you'll stay? Forever. Forever, Kai agreed. They spent the rest of the evening together in the studio. Elliot painted while Kai worked on his cookbook. Miso the cat napped in a patch of sunlight. It was peaceful and perfect and exactly what they both needed. Later that night, lying in bed together as they always did now, Elliot was playing with Kai's hair while Kai drew patterns on Elliot's chest. "What are you thinking about?" Elliot asked. "How lucky I am. A year ago, I thought I was making a sacrifice for my family, marrying a stranger to save our restaurant. I thought I was giving up my chance at happiness. And now I know that sometimes the best things in life come from the most unexpected places. That contract marriage was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because it brought me you." Elliot smiled in the darkness. "You know what's funny? I thought the same thing. I thought I was being forced into a marriage I didn't want. But you were exactly what I needed. Someone who saw past my family name and my weaknesses. Someone who loved me for me. I do love you. So much. I love you too. More than I thought I could ever love anyone." They fell asleep like that, wrapped in each other's arms, both feeling grateful for the strange twist of fate that had brought them together. 2 years later, Kai's restaurant had opened 6 months ago and was already a success. It was small and cozy, with a menu that changed based on what Kai felt inspired to cook. Elliot had painted a mural on one wall, and people came as much for the art as for the food. Elliot's art career had taken off. He had shows in galleries across the city. His paintings sold for impressive prices. But more importantly, he was happy. He woke up every day excited to create, no longer weighed down by family expectations or health fears. They still had challenges. Elliot still had difficult days when anxiety made everything harder. Kai still worried sometimes about their restaurant succeeding and their bills. But they faced everything together, as partners, as best friends, as husbands who had chosen each other. One evening, they were closing up the restaurant together. It had been a busy night, and they were both tired but happy. "Remember our first breakfast together?" Kai asked while wiping down tables. "When you almost burned down the kitchen trying to make me toast?" Elliot laughed from where he was counting the register. "How could I forget? You looked so panicked when you saw all that smoke. I thought the building was on fire. It was just a toaster, a very aggressive toaster." They finished cleaning and walked home through the city streets, holding hands like they always did now, comfortable with showing affection in public. "Kai, thank you." "For what?" "For not giving up on me. For seeing something worth loving even when I couldn't see it myself. For being patient while I learned to be honest. For staying through all the difficult parts." Elliot stopped walking and turned to face Kai under a streetlight. "For being my home." Kai reached up to cup Elliot's face gently. "You're my home too. You always will be." They kissed under the streetlight, not caring who might see, not hiding anything anymore. When they got home, they found Miso waiting by the door, meowing for attention. They took turns petting her while telling her about their day, a routine they had fallen into. That night, as they lay in bed together, Kai thought about how much had changed since that first awkward wedding day. The cold, distant alpha he had expected to marry had become his best friend, his partner, his great love. "What are you smiling about?" Elliot asked, noticing Kai's expression. "Just thinking about us, about how we started and where we are now. It's been quite a journey." "Yeah, and I'm glad I took it with you." Elliot pulled Kai closer, pressing a kiss to his forehead. "Me too. Here's to the next chapter of our adventure." "To forever," Kai agreed. "To forever," Elliot echoed. They fell asleep wrapped in each other's arms. Two people who had found love in the most unexpected way. Their marriage had started as a contract, a business arrangement to help both families. But it had become so much more. It had become a partnership built on trust, a friendship built on understanding, a love built on choosing each other every single day. And that was the best kind of love there was.